9 behaviors we mistake for love, but are actually emotional control. There's something intoxicating about being wanted. The long texts, the endless check-ins, the way they say they just want to keep you safe. It can feel like the stuff of romance novels, the kind of intensity people crave when they talk about falling in love. But sometimes that closeness, that intensity, isn't love. It's surveillance. It's control. And it wears the mask of affection so convincingly that even the most self-aware among us can be fooled. In the early stages of a relationship, everything is under the spell of infatuation. Their attention is flattering. Their protectiveness feels like devotion. Their jealousy is chalked up to how much they care. But if you take a step back, just one quiet, objective step back, you might begin to see the outlines of something far more suffocating than sacred. Because not everything we label as love truly is. Some of it is fear. Some of it is insecurity. And some of it is the subtle manipulation of another person's freedom, cloaked in the language of romance. One of the most common disguises control wears is jealousy. When your partner asks who messaged you, or why someone liked your photo, or why you're still in touch with old friends, it might feel flattering at first. You might interpret it as passion or emotional investment. But real love does not seek to possess. It does not ask you to shrink your world to make someone else feel secure. Jealousy, left unchecked, is not proof of how much someone loves you. It's proof of how much they fear losing you, and that fear, when turned outward, can become a leash. Jealousy often walks hand in hand with surveillance. Partners who claim they just want to make sure you're okay might constantly track your location, read your messages, or ask you to share every detail of your day. The justification sounds noble. It's about safety, right? But real love trusts. It doesn't micromanage. It doesn't require you to report like you're answering to a manager. The moment your freedom becomes a liability to someone else's peace of mind, you're not being loved. You're being watched. Then there are the compliments that come with caveats. You look amazing, but maybe don't wear that out. I love how friendly you are, but you should be careful. People might get the wrong idea. These comments are subtle, seemingly caring, but they are messages with teeth. They dress up insecurity as concern and use affection to mask restriction. Over time, the recipient internalizes these messages. You start to self-censor. You question your choices. You alter your behavior not because you want to, but because you've been taught that love requires you to. Advice is another slippery slope. A partner might constantly give you suggestions about your career, your friends, your lifestyle, all in the name of helping you grow. But true love does not come with a manual for who you should become. When advice starts sounding like expectations, when your independence is eroded under the weight of support, you might be dealing with emotional control. A partner's role is to stand beside you, not sculpt you. You are not a project to be fixed. You are a person to be embraced. Another behavior often mistaken for love is the need for constant contact. Being called 10 times a day. Being expected to respond immediately. Being questioned when you take too long to reply. Some call this passion. Some call it dedication. But what it often is, at its core, is anxiety. Insecure attachment wrapped in the desperate need for control. Relationships need space to breathe. Love does not collapse under silence. It should not wither in the face of autonomy. Even shared decisions, another hallmark of intimacy, can become instruments of control when they no longer feel mutual. When one partner constantly suggests what to do, where to go, who to spend time with, what's best for both of you, it might look like leadership, like someone taking charge for the good of the couple. But if your voice no longer matters, if your opinions are always sidelined in favor of what's best, you're not part of a partnership. You're in a hierarchy. And that's not love, it's submission. Public displays of affection can also deceive. The couple that posts every moment together, The partner who constantly declares how lucky they are, how much they adore you, how they couldn't live without you. Sometimes it's genuine, but sometimes it's performance. A well-crafted image meant to keep you in line, to make you feel guilty if you ever express doubt or pull away. When someone constantly reminds you how much they love you but punishes you for asserting boundaries, it's not love. It's control dressed as devotion. Sometimes the control is even more subtle. It looks like guilt. I did all this for you, and you still want time alone? After everything I've sacrificed, you can't do this one thing for me? Guilt is a powerful tool because it exploits your empathy. It makes you doubt yourself. It reframes selfishness as sacrifice and paints you as ungrateful for trying to protect your space. Real love doesn't weaponize generosity. It doesn't keep score. It supports your boundaries even when it doesn't benefit from them. And then there is fear, the worst disguise of all. When you're afraid to upset someone because you don't know how they'll react. When you hesitate before telling the truth. When you rehearse how to say something so they won't explode, withdraw, or guilt trip you. That's not love. That's emotional captivity. And it grows slowly, in small, daily acts that accumulate until one day you realize you're not living for yourself anymore. You're surviving someone else's emotions. What makes all of these behaviors so dangerous is how easily we misinterpret them. How often we hear that real love is all-consuming, that jealousy is normal, that passion is supposed to hurt, that sacrifices are part of the package. But when the balance tips, when your identity begins to dissolve, when your choices begin to shrink, when your inner peace starts to erode, it's time to ask, is this love or is it control? Science has weighed in. Studies on attachment theory, emotional dependency, and relationship dynamics consistently point to the dangers of over-involvement and enmeshment. Psychologists warn against confusing codependency for connection. Emotional manipulation often masquerades as concern. In fact, according to research published in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence, many victims of emotional abuse don't recognize it as abuse because it doesn't look like cruelty. It looks like care. Until it doesn't. That's the trap. Emotional control rarely starts as aggression. It begins as affection. It whispers instead of shouts. It seduces instead of demands. And by the time you realize it's a cage, you've already decorated the bars with memories, excuses, and the illusion that things will get better. But control does not evolve into love. It only tightens its grip. The truth is, healthy love is rooted in trust, not possession. It grows in freedom, not fear. It honors your voice, even when it disagrees. It celebrates your individuality, even when it feels unfamiliar. A partner who loves you will want to know who you are, not mold you into someone more convenient for them. They will respect your boundaries, not resent them. They will support your dreams, not sabotage them for the sake of closeness. Love is not a test you have to pass. It's not a game of obedience. It's not a performance for an audience. It's a space to grow, to speak, to be, without fear of punishment, without the burden of perfection, without the pressure to disappear inside someone else's expectations. So the next time someone says, "I'm only doing this because I love you," ask yourself, do I feel more free or more afraid? More seen or more silenced? More alive or more controlled? Because love, real love, will never ask you to betray yourself just to keep it alive. Sometimes the most dangerous prison is the one that feels like home. And sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is walk away from a love that only knew how to hold you too tight.